website.com. Carnage today was, of course, all predictable. The media terrorism. The media has gotten their wish. The media is getting the terrorism that they've so desperately hoped and prayed for. So it's a very sad thing. What a lot of people don't really understand is that I'm an expert, and I predicted that there would be some kind of killing at one of these events. It was a prediction that I had made. So people assume, oh, you must support it. But I think a lot of people are just too stupid to function in my world and too stupid to watch my periscopes, because if you think that predicting future events means I endorse future events, then you shouldn't read me or watch my videos, because prediction is not endorsement. Prediction is just me using my expertise and human intelligence and everything to tell you what is going to happen. It has nothing to do with what I want to happen. It's what is going to happen. Just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is about to hit 4,000. And I told people Bitcoin is the future. Bitcoin is very important. And sure enough, people don't know. Now, why is that? It's because I've studied humanity. The big questions, the big existential questions for a while. And I really know. By the way, I'm going to have a little espresso. So give me a moment here. Alright, so let's talk about the reality. Let's talk about the reality of the alt-right. Man, remember how many people were watching me during the Great Cuckening? Who remembered when Mike Cernovich indulged in the Great Cuckening, and Mike Cernovich said, you know what, if you want to do Nazi salutes, I don't want that associated with Mike Cernovich, right? Who remembers that when I said, you know what, if that's what you want to do, I don't want anything to do with that. The feds have already been infiltrating. The alt-right. So the feds, I had been told by my sources that the feds were all up in their business, and sure enough, it's been proven. Now, I don't think people really comprehend what is actually going to happen now. I don't think people understand what's... So let me teach you how these operations work. Hey man, why don't you quit talking on the internet and do something? So right now, for example, people on my Periscope saying, Cernovich is weak, only weak people oppose political violence. Hey, here's the arm punches from the alt-right. Here's the alt-right fighting style. Y'all don't even, unless you're driving a car into somebody like an Islamic terrorist, y'all can't even do anything. T-Rex, your little T-Rex arms, arm punches. There wasn't one of you that could throw an actual punch from your hip. Nobody could even throw an overhand right. So you're coming into my periscopes, oh yeah, we're so tough, and Cernovich opposes political violence, and you throw little alligator punches. Like that. What are you trying to claw with your hand or something like that? But the people who talk like that are actually feds. They're saying, Cernovich, you're weak. They try to play on your ego. You can't play my ego. You can't play on my ego. I'm a 39-year-old man who's an expert on mindset and written the best mindset books in the world. You're not going to be like, oh, sir, you're not going to peer pressure me into being violent. Well, Cernovich, only cucks oppose political violence. It's time to get tough. That's a Fed. That is 100% a federal agent. That's how feds talk to people. They go, why don't you just quit talking and do something about it? And then you do something about it, and they usually stop you before you do it, and you go to prison. That's how they get people. So they go in the organizations, and they go, why don't you show people how tough you are? Show them how tough you are, and just quit doing this internet stuff. And then you're like, yeah, I'll show them. And then you're in prison. This isn't complicated. I've done federal criminal defense work. This is definitely not a... nothing I'm saying would be refuted by an actual lawyer who has done any kind of criminal defense work. They tell you right away, like, yeah, that's classic Fed talk. But after today, oh my God, it is strong men of serve time. Man, if you're glorifying prison, I don't think you've ever been to prison or known anybody who's been to prison. I, in my life, have dealt with straight-up criminals, and you know what they'll all tell you about prison? Don't go. There ain't nothing cool about the thug life. There ain't nothing cool about thug culture on the left. There ain't nothing cool about thug culture on the right. You want to stay as far away from prison as you want to be. So I don't know who's glorifying prison culture for you, but maybe you should talk to some people who've actually done time. Friends of mine have done time. It ain't fun. There ain't nothing cool about it. Nothing cool about it. So what is the reality of what is going to happen next? Well, the feds are all up now in the alt-right. There is a meeting being held now by the counterterrorism unit and the FBI. There is full intel gathering now. So the alt-right, I don't care if you're like, we're not the real alt-right, I don't care. You know, friends of mine try to play with the little labels and they go, well, those guys are the alt-right, but this is the... If you are associated with the alt-right, you are under federal investigation. Like it or not, I'm not telling you that's a good thing. I'm not telling you it's a bad thing. I'm not telling you it's lawful or unlawful. If you are associated with the alt-right, you are under federal investigation. I don't care if you try to zigzag or weave a narrative, and I'm not like those other... It doesn't even matter. I'm just stating the facts. You are under federal investigation, and you are under intelligence gathering. There's no question about it. So how people are going to deal with that is... I don't know. It's just reality. So the reality is if you're anywhere near these people, you're under investigation now. So if you want the feds looking into your life, then, you know, enjoy. Today, I can't... So when I do journalism, I sound glib. I'm sounding glib. So I need to take a pause for a moment. Murder, and this is like a dumb thing to have to say. Murder is bad. I disavow murder. It's terrible. If you murder people, I don't want anything to do with you, okay? This is all the end result of the Nazi salute gate that was caught on TV by The Atlantic. I told you all, I go, this is the end. You better get far away from all of this. If you actually have any kind of desire to avoid prison, you need to stay far away from this, because if people are throwing Nazi salutes, they are either feds or legit crazy, and they're going to actually kill people, right? So anybody throwing Nazi salute is either SPLC and ADL, it's a fed, or they're legit crazy and they're going to kill people. There's nobody actually wants to do this. I've been all around. No sane person feels the need to throw up a Nazi salute. No sane person needs to go around dropping N-bombs, right? That's not how people talk, unless there's something really wrong with you, or you're a fed or something else. People just don't go, oh, dropping the bombs, you know? That isn't the way people behave. And I know, because I've lived on the fringes of society and I've lived in the mainstream. So I've lived around people, I've been around very bad people, I know very bad people. And that's not how people talk. So what is going on? Well, again, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what's going on. Regardless, people don't have to like it. Now I also remember people telling me during the great Cerno cuckening of 2016. They go, Cernovich, you're over, your brand is dead. Why? Because I said, if you want to throw up Nazi salutes, you just can't be around me. The Nazi salute stuff, you gotta go. It's just, there's no point for it. The gas chamber memes, I don't get that either. Especially when you're targeting them people. You know, there's a whole bunch of things that are just not the kind of thing that people should want to be doing. But if you want to go in real life and you want to throw up Nazi salutes, then there's something wrong or you're a fed. And I don't want anything to do with that. And I've been very clear that I want nothing to do with it. But everybody who throws up Nazi salutes goes, Cernovich, they're going to call you a Nazi anyway. Well, I've gained 100,000, I've doubled my follower count since the great Cerno cuckening. Since the great Cerno cuckening, where my brand is dead and I really made a mistake by saying, hey guys, I have a pretty high tolerance for things. You know, you can call me a lot of names, but I don't want anything to do, I don't want anything to do with that. I've doubled, so obviously, that was wrong. There aren't that many people who want to throw up Nazi salutes. That's what I'm saying. There's like 1,500. So here's what bothers me. Allie's making good comments, by the way. So here's what bothers me about today. Do you know who the murder was caused by the murderer? So before I get into this, because people are going to try to cut it and splice it and say that I'm explaining away terrorism, wrong. The person who drove his car into the crowd is a domestic terrorist. I don't care if he's right-wing. I don't care if he's a Bernie supporter. I don't care if he yelled Allah Akbar. He is a domestic terrorist, full stop. Why did this happen? Why did this? Just a bunch of idiots wanted to go march around and throw their Nazi salutes with their Nazi flags. And this is America, and you can do it. The media covered it, hyped it. You got 500 dirty people, a lot of them haven't showered, with Nazi flags. Just let them have their dumb rally. Just let these morons have their stupid little rally and throw up their Nazi salute and get their little microphone and say, the Jews are coming, watch out, Jews this. Just let them have their stupid rally. And don't counter-protest it. Don't bring Antifa out there. Don't bring media. And just ignore it. Right? You're allowed to you're allowed, if you're the media, to not cover things. So just let them have their little party. Let them have their little circle jerk. But they didn't, and the police broke it up unlawfully and unconstitutionally, by the way. Like I said, I cover it like it is. What I observed, and I watched every stream from the minute I got up. I watched every stream. The police broke up it was a lawful, constitutionally protected assembly. They had every constitutional right to have the little circle jerk with their Nazi flags. And the police broke it up. And then they drove them out, and then 300 Antifa people marched in the street, and the police didn't break that up. So I would love for people who are praising the police to explain that to me. Why were Antifa allowed to march and take over the streets, but the police illegally broke up and dispersed the alt-right rally? So again, there is so much blame. If you want to do like a full-on after-action report, there's so many people here to blame. There's Antifa for causing this. Antifa caused this by sucker punching Richard Spencer. Antifa said, hey, if you're an alt-right guy and you go out by yourself, then we're going to punch you in the face. So then the alt-right guys go, well, okay, we can't go out alone. We better go out with people. And then they went out with people, and then you have this battle of Berkeley where people are fighting in the middle of Berkeley. And I go, do people not see what is going to happen? Exactly. Whose streets are streets? So you have Antifa coming in. You have melee combat in Berkeley. Did nobody in the media think, what the F? What the F? We're having melee combat in Berkeley. Maybe we need to do something about this. Maybe we need to say something about Antifa. No. The media, they spread the memes about punching Nazis. Jake Tapper is tweeting out, punch Nazis. No, you don't. Let them have their little party. Let the little 500 boys have their party and carry their citronella torches. That's called the law. It's called the Constitution. So here's what I love. People go, Nazis are not part of America, but we're going to unconstitutionally break up their party. Well, whoa, wait a minute. So if you're saying that there's an American ideal, an American value, well, then that would include the First Amendment, and that includes their right to be part of America. Constitutionally, Nazis and every idiot out there that I saw today, constitutionally, they are part of America. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like them, but you do have to just kind of tolerate them being there, and there's nothing you can do. So all I've seen from the media is the promotion of violence. Punch a Nazi. This is where Mike Cernovich defends Nazis. This is where Mike Cernovich talks about the law. This is what I love. This is why people are like, oh, he's defending the Nazis. I'm defending all the idiots, including the left-wing idiots too, and their little pussy hats. If you think putting on your little pussy hat doesn't make you look every bit as dumb as people care and just pathetic as the Nazi flag, because the Nazi flags don't scare me. Those of you who see a Nazi flag and are like, oh my God, I'm so afraid, or harden up, go look at these guys. Their little arm punches. I see those guys and I see flabby, out of shape. I didn't see one jacked guy carrying a Nazi flag. Right? I'm out of shape and I'm bigger than all those guys who showed up. Right? I'm not even beach body ready. But I would have been the biggest guy out there, the toughest guy out there in their stupid little rally, right? So I don't see their little flags and go, oh my God, I'm so intimidated, I'm afraid of this, I can't believe it. I see a bunch of just schlubs, and I think, you guys need to go to the gym. You're schlubs. I wouldn't want them repping Danger and Play gear or Cernovich gear or anything like that. So somebody's going flabby, out of shape Nazis deserve to be punched. Well, that's why people drive cars into other people. Okay? Real talk. Real talk, bro. The reason people are losing their minds and driving their cars into people is because you say, well, we can go kill them. Well, if you say we can go kill them, what are they going to say? Again, I live in the real world, the world of humanity, not the world that I wish it was. I don't have a utopian thinking. I don't think about utopia. I live in the world. If one side of people goes, you know what? We can kill these guys. We can go sucker punch Nazis, smash them, throw bricks in their cars, beat them up, beat up the women. What are they going to be like? Well, okay, okay, sure, just beat us up. They're going to come back after you, and then it gets elevated. So all of this bullshit can be traced to Antifa. All of this bullshit can be traced to the media. All this bullshit can be traced to CNN and people like Jake Tapper who wouldn't just have some fucking integrity and say, you know what? Even though these people on the left are fighting fascism, they are violent and this is bullshit and I'm going to call it out and I'm going to cover it and I'm going to report on it and we have to stop it. This is all directly traceable to the media and to Antifa. So the people who were killed today, yes, he was killed by a murderer. The reason we're in war and America's having a civil war is because of the fake news media. Because these motherfuckers had no integrity, they had no guts, and they couldn't call out this shit on their own side. They go, let's pretend we're not looking at it. Let's just pretend we don't see it. No, that we'll leave them alone. That's why this is all happening, and this is so clear. So anybody who wants to just look at this in isolation and say, well, this kid drove in the car. Yeah, and I have people in here saying, let's go beat people up. Jake Tapper, a CNN anchor, is tweeting out punching Nazi memes. Richard Spencer got sucker punched. The Battle of Berkeley happened, open melee combat in an American city. There were pictures of 7-year-old Trump supporters tweeted out, and verified journalists tweeted out, oh, this old man figured out he wasn't on the internet. Women were pepper sprayed. The woman who was pepper sprayed isn't even a Trump person. Kiera, she's a Bitcoin person. She had a hat, make Bitcoin great again, but because it was red, Antifa didn't think, oh shit, maybe I should read the fucking hat before I pepper spray a woman. Hey, before I pepper spray a woman who's unarmed and talking to a journalist and looking away from me, maybe I ought to read her fucking hat and find out if it's actually a Trump supporter. They can't even do that. They're so fucking feral and so out of control, they can't even read your hat. So you shouldn't even be attacking Trump supporters, but she wasn't even a Trump supporter. And I didn't see Jake Tapper say, this is bullshit, this is wrong, we need to stand up for this, we disavow it, we need to get Bernie, Hillary, the Democrats, they all have nothing. They want to pretend like this shit doesn't fucking happen. People go, you're worked out. Worked up? No shit. We're in the midst of a civil fucking war. We're having now murder in the streets. We have melee combat in Berkeley. The battle for Berkeley? When I saw the battle for Berkeley, I thought, fuck, man, the alt-right guys, they're ready to go. The left wing is ready to go. And now we have people driving cars into each other, and people are like, well, how could this have happened? Maybe I'll tweet about it. Hate is not welcome. Hate has been welcome in America by the left for decades. I've never seen the media demand that cop killers be disavowed by the Democrats. Larry Ellison and those guys praising the Muslim Brotherhood, I've never heard any of those people say, disavow terrorism by the left. It has never happened. Hate has been here. Hate has happened from the left, and now you have a counter reaction. So I remember watching that battle for Berkeley and saying, how can you people not figure out what is happening next? How do you just not see it? I feel like that the Greek person, there's like a prophetess, And the curse is that you would know everything that was going to happen and nobody would believe you. Right? Nobody will believe. That's my life right now, is I'm saying, look, political violence is here. Now the question is, who can do it better? That is the literal column that I wrote. I said political violence is here, and now they're just going to see who can do it better. Right? And you have violence, people hitting each other in the streets, people going to these events with shields, pepper spraying. The police aren't doing their jobs. The police did not do a good job today. Stop screaming, no. Leave. Leave. I'm a passionate person. And you should be passionate. There's going to be more murder. There's going to be more killings. This is not the end. There's going to be way more. There's going to be way more like this. Because now these alt-right people can't even give their dumb little circle jerk events. So you know what happens? They go into the underground. You know what happens when people go to the underground? Study Sacco and Vanzetti. Study the American anarchist movement. There's a historical basis for everything I say because humanity hasn't changed. That's the message of Sapiens, which everybody should read. Read books like Sapiens, like Extraordinary Delusions and the Popular Madness of Crowds. Read about the anarchists. Read about the populist movements, the Great Awakening of George Whitefield, and how we're in movements right now. We're in a popular movement, populist movement. Populism can be good or bad. Right? It just means we're in mob rule right now. We're all just floating around. This energy is floating around. So study the anarchists in America. You know what happens when you drive people underground? They radicalize. That's why people go, well, Cernovich, why didn't you, stand up against these people? Because you don't want to radicalize these idiots. Let them have their dumb event. Let these people have their dumb events with their schlubby little bodies and sing Depeche Mode karaoke. That's what they did after the last one. They went to a karaoke bar and Richard Spencer sang Depeche Mode, songs about having sex with all these, young boys. That's what they literally did. They had their little event and then they went to a karaoke bar. Richard serenaded a bunch of boys with Depeche Mode. And that's what they do. Just let them have their little thing. But when you drive people in the underground, they get radicalized. And when you radicalize people, that's when you get crazy. That's when you get bombings. That's when you get terrorism. That's when everything goes wrong. This is all predictable. So everything that happened today was predictable. Everything that happened today that I said, I had predicted. And the answer to that is there has to be disavow by the left and the right. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching on Periscope, tap the screen. So here's something that I find interesting. And I don't want to get into the realm of conspiracy theory. Hit the like button on YouTube, subscribe, and hit the like button on... So I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but... Why do these KKK Nazi guys call themselves Trump supporters? Why can't they just be Nazis and KKK and alt-right or whatever they call it? Why do they have to go, we're Trump supporters? Think about that for a minute, right? Think about that. Because I, Mike Cernovich, have even said I don't want to be called pro-Trump. I just want to be thought of as a journalist, and I want to stand or fall on my own 2 feet. And I got in a lot of trouble for that. People got triggered by it. They didn't understand. I don't want anything that I say or do to reflect badly on Trump or the administration. I don't want anything that I say or do or things that people make up about me to blow back to the Trump administration. I'm just Mike Cernovich, journalist, provocateur, writer, mindset guy, filmmaker, yada, yada, yada. So why is it that they have to call themselves pro-Trump? Has anybody ever thought about that? Has anybody ever thought, why is it so important for David Duke to say, we are putting in Trump's vision? Why did David Duke say that? David Duke said, we are, I quote, fulfilling the promises of Trump. Why can't David Duke just be David Duke? Why can't David Duke just do the David Duke brand and the David Duke movement and say, why do you need to glam onto Trump? Think about it. David Duke Trump has disavowed him repeatedly, but then David Duke goes, Deep State David Duke is what we call him. Deep State David Duke. Deep State David. So he goes and says this rally and the Nazi flags is fulfilling the vision of Donald Trump, or fulfilling his vision. How about you just shut the fuck up? How's that sound? Pardon my language. But it is a weekend. And I'm fired up and, family-friendly hours at 6:30 my time. I got to go to the gym. It's 9:30 Central Time. So I'm trying not to cuss too much. But sometimes you got to drop the F-bomb. So why does David Duke just not shut the F up about Trump? Why does he have to say, well, I'm a Trump supporter? Why do all these guys that Trump doesn't want associated with him have to say, well, we're Trump people? Think about that. Does nobody think about that? That maybe there's a reason that David Duke shows up looking like the Grim Reaper, looking like the person from Tales from the Crypt. We're fulfilling the visions of Trump. How about you just say we're fulfilling the visions of David Duke? Why does Deep State David Duke come in and glam onto Trump? Why does all this Nazi shit get glammed onto Trump? Why can't they just do their own thing? Right? Well, think it through. Who benefits by having a bunch of idiots who commit terrorism and carry around Nazi flags? Who wins by calling them pro-Trump? Right? So if you really want to think deeply about life, does Trump gain anything by having people with Nazi flags say that they are his supporters? Does Trump gain anything by having David Duke say, I'm here to fulfill the promises of Trump? Does Trump gain anything by having these people claim to be Trump supporters? He gains nothing, and he loses catastrophe. He loses a lot, right? He loses. With these people, you lose. So then why are they so adamant about claiming that they're Trump people? Why don't they just say they're their own people? Right? When I go online, I don't say this is Mike Cernovich, TrumpMindset.com. I go, this is Mike Cernovich, GorillaMindset.com, and here I am doing journalism, commentary, criticize Trump, I praise Trump, just telling it like it is. I don't need people calling me the pro-Trump guy, because I don't need Trump's brand to do what I'm doing. So think about it. Who is actually behind these movements? Well, David Duke is a deep state asset. Do people forget that David Duke was convicted of a federal felony? You think he didn't get flipped? Does anybody not know that are there people who don't know David Duke is a felon? Do people not know about the whole federal thing? Or is that just like unknown to people? People have, Gold State memories or whatever? Goldfish memories? Yeah. So you think he didn't flip? You think he's not snitching on people? You think he's not having his strings pulled? Who's funding him? Who funds David Duke? Think about that. Where does this money come from? Don't you ever wonder that about these people? Like, where's their money come from? It's coming from somewhere. Definitely it's coming from somewhere. So, my money comes from book sales. I'll post it. Got Patreons, got a lot of things going on. You can very easily say, okay, here's Mike Cernovich, and here's the car he drives, and here's where I live, and you can do a budget. If you have a brain, you can figure out how much money I make and how much I spend. You could very easily figure it out, extrapolate it just based on demographics and everything, the kind of car I drive and all that. You could be like, okay. And then you could find, so where does the money come from? Think about that. Soros. Money comes from Soros or Deep State or somewhere. Somewhere definitely like that. It's really, really wild. That's insane. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button. If you're watching on Periscope, tap the screen. I'm going to go get the working out going on. Mikey drinking coffee this late. I had an espresso because I'm going to go lift, actually. So I'm going to go lift because you got to stay in shape because the Civil War is coming. Man, I'm telling you all, the Civil War is coming. I've been warning you that we were in a cold Civil War. It's getting hot out there. So you better be lifting, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing. Don't be throwing these alt-right, alligator punches. Little, alligator punches like that. You need to actually learn how to throw a proper punch. So it's coming. The Civil War is coming. Take care of yourselves. Very important to own cryptocurrency. Very important to own firearms. Very important to own gold, canned foods, water. It's going to become more common. I don't know what to tell people. I'm not happy about it, but it's going to become more common. Mike was punching. Actually, when I got punched, I slammed the guy in the face. So nice try. Yes, I did have a guy at an anti-Trump rally in Austin, Texas, take a sucker punch at me. I missed, and I smashed him right in the face. I threw a proper punch. And the police were there, and they laughed because they saw that I was attacked. Joe Biggs was there, witnessed the whole thing. So nice try, guys. I do play up the whole, I'm being assaulted thing for theatrics. But if you can't understand the difference between if you can't tell when I'm being theatrical, oh my God, I'm being assaulted, look at these people, they're insane. If you can't figure out that that's theatrics, then you're not smart enough to watch Mike Cernovich, GorillaMindset.com.